Hello, everyone. Welcome to Big League Dreaming, the podcast, a show about baseball, dreams, and family. On today's podcast, we have two of the three sons. If you're new to the show, the way the podcast works is it's a dad and his three sons talking about the game of baseball. And you know what? Today, two of the three are with us. Let's check in with the guys, and then we'll tell you what the topic is today, because I think you'll enjoy this weekend's topic. Son number one is Zach Gonzalez. He's based in Charlotte, North Carolina. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing well. Things are cooling off a little bit here in Charlotte, so it's nice not to be in 100-degree weather every day.
I was looking at an old podcast, and it was from the springtime, and you were talking about 90-degree weather, and I'm like, man, we can't relate to this 90-degree weather like in April, but it happens every once in a while, right?
Yeah, it does sometimes, but I know it'll get hot again because it's August and September is always super hot down here. So try to enjoy these couple cooler days while we got them.
I know we roasted when I came down last August to see the Lions and Panthers play in a preseason game, and it was so hot that day.
Yeah, we were sweating in that upper deck at that Lions football game. That was rough.
But it was a lot of fun. Son number two is Ty Gonzalez. He's based in Grand Rapids, Michigan, as I am, and he is our Mets fan. How you doing, Ty?
I'm doing awesome. Yeah, it's super cold here, Zach. You'd probably be freezing. I've been wearing sweatpants and sweatshirts all week.
Like how cold?
It was like 50 degrees when I got in my car this morning. Heat on, everything.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. But I'm doing great.
I took a walk this morning to get warmed up for the show, and it was 53 degrees, and I put a sweatshirt on. And midway through the walk, I'm like, man, I'm like so hot, and I took it off. It's that in between time here in Michigan where part of the day can be cold, part of the day can be warm, then it can be cold all over again. So yeah, Zach, you remember those days in Michigan, right?
Yeah, I would rather it just be hot all the time. So I'm happy to be down here.
Fall's coming. Fall's coming here.
Fall is coming. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, if you're a first-time listener, this is a dad, his three sons. The third one's missing, by the way, Zane Gonzalez. We're going to give him a break. He's a new dad, so he's doing the new dad thing. And they're getting ready for their season. He's a coach at Indiana University at South Bend, and they have back to school coming, students on campus, and they'll be starting fall ball, all that good stuff. So, yeah, from being a new dad to starting a new school year, he could not join us today. But on today's show, we go all around. So if you go back and check out some of our previous podcasts, we'll talk about rule changes in Major League Baseball. We'll talk about minor league baseball, college baseball, and every once in a while, go ahead and laugh, guys. We'll talk about Little League baseball, right, Ty?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, our first season we had a team in Michigan that actually won the Little League World Series. So we covered that season very heavily and got to talk with the players and the coaches. So that was a lot of fun.
And Zach, I'm sure, brought back a lot of Little League memories for you, especially as we watched recently the Major League game on MLB ESPN playing during the Little League World Series.
Yeah, watching that game the other night, Sunday Night Baseball, Tigers and Yankees, yeah. The field just looked so small. It was so crazy because, like, optical illusion, you just have a little grandstand down the foul lines. Like, that was so crazy.
Okay, so the topic at hand, right, Zach, is we're going to talk about the future of the game because on Sunday night, you see all these kids in the stands, right? And they're all excited for the game. They're cheering for their favorite players. I loved seeing the, teams from the Midwest and the South next to each other, and the kids that, even they're competing against each other. They're rooting like for Aaron Judge or, Tarek Skubal. They're rooting for their favorite players, and it's fun to see that excitement. And you forget that baseball is struggling, right? They're trying to appeal to the younger audience all the time, right? That's why we have these rule changes. The games are quicker and, paring down the number of minor leagues. Zach, you know this was happening, right? I mean, you've been following the trend in baseball. A lot of young people aren't interested in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, so I think on today's episode, we kind of just want to talk about some ideas on how to get younger kids more, involved, like excited, looking forward to watching Major League Baseball games.
Ty, you noticed the trend too, right? I mean, your kids are a little young, but you're young yourself, and you coached kids. You know what's going on.
Yeah, it seems like not as many young people are into the game as much as they were when we were growing up. Um, so a few ideas how I think the youth could get involved more, or what MLB could do. Because I know, like, this might sound weird, but we all grew up liking baseball and watching baseball, and it was big in the 90s with sports cards and stuff like that, and we kind of all just grew up with it. But I thought when we came up with this topic idea today, I kind of thought about what got me into other things other than baseball growing up. And the one thing I thought of was skateboarding. So skateboarding was also another big thing in the 90s, but what got me into that was video games and TV shows. So like you had like the Tony Hawk video games that really appealed to the younger generation, that kind of started a whole different movement of kids getting into skateboarding. And I think it'd be cool if baseball and MLB kind of did something similar, because me and Zach grew up with the backyard baseball games, and that kind of died out in the early 2000s. So the younger generation is playing a lot of video games and spending a lot of time on their tablets and stuff. I think it'd be cool if MLB created like a kids version of a video game, or even a tablet game with different teams and players and stuff like that.
Zach, do you think that would work?
Yeah, totally. I actually saw a post today from MLB. Well, not from MLB, but that the Backyard Sports franchise is getting a relaunch.
Really?
Yep, and they're gonna do video games, merchandise, a film, TV projects, and more. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. just the other day had that Pablo Sanchez baseball bat that he used for the game for Players Weekend, hit a home run with his Pablo bat. So they're gonna do a full relaunch, have like a little movie, video game, merchandise, all this stuff for Backyard Sports. So that's coming.
Well, there you go. I guess I was spot on.
You guessed it right. Good job, Ty. You're right on top of it. All right, Zach, what's one of your ideas to relaunch baseball with the younger generation?
Yeah, so I wrote down three. I think Ty might have did the same. I know you did too, Dad. But I guess which one do you want to go into the most? Because the three that I wrote down were the automated strike zone. I think having that in Major League Baseball games would be super fun for the kids to watch. You know, where the batter or the pitcher catcher can challenge the pitch, and you see it up on the video board come in, red for a strike, green for a ball. The other thing I wrote down was more international games. So it's not just American kids that are seeing Major League Baseball, the product. In 2025, I know they're going to play games in Japan, Tokyo series out there. This year they had games in London and in Mexico. So more international games is always fun for the game. Um, Including Olympics, right? Because Olympics are coming in in a few years to what is it, LA? So that'd be
Oh yeah.
2028 if they could pull something off where you eliminate the All Star game for that summer, and you take that week and you play 7, 10 days of the Olympics for baseball. That'd be super huge for how hype the Olympics were across the country this year. The third thing I wrote down though was end the blackout restrictions. People are cutting cable. They don't have access to stream their local team because of the MLB blackout restrictions. I know it's a
Right.
business. It's all money and contracts, so it might not be feasible anytime soon. But if you're able to sit down like at a bar or inside the ballpark and stream the game on your phone, you can watch that play that just happened. That'd be pretty cool.
Those are great ideas. Yeah, I mean, all of them would work. I would love the idea of bringing the automated strike zone into the game, because then you're going to be watching every pitch, right? You're not going to be like, oh yeah, what's going on? I hate the conversations that just take place at ballparks, especially in the suites that don't even talk about baseball, right? They're not watching the game. But at least this way, you're going to watch the game and be entertained by, like, is it a strike? Isn't it a strike? Challenges and so forth. All good ideas. Ty, we didn't get to your two other ideas. What were your other two ideas you had?
So it was kind of the same with the video games. And I guess it's happening. A TV series, so like cartoons of some sort. Because that was the other thing I was gonna say that got me into skateboarding was Rocket Power, was like a huge show, and I think it just got a lot of kids growing up like into different things: skateboarding, biking, rollerblading, stuff like that. So I was gonna say, like a really cool cartoon series based around MLB, but maybe like MLB players as kids, so like a backyard baseball version, and like an actual TV show. So like they wouldn't just be playing baseball the whole time, but like other things like school and just like a kids show. I think that the kids would go for the show, but then maybe midway through the show or the beginning of the show or the end of the show, there would always be some sort of game, and I feel like the show Hey Arnold kind of did that a lot with different sports. They would start with like a basketball game or a baseball game. They had that little lot they played in, and then it would just kind of go through everyday phases and lessons throughout school. So I think it'd be cool if it was specifically like MLB players growing up in school. Maybe they could share some of their stories, um, have some inspirational stories from their childhoods. Like, hey, this was a Ronald Acuna in school type of episode. I think kids would relate to the episodes, and then they would be more invested in discovering more about baseball. And then the other thing I had was, um, growing up, we had Bazooka Joe. I mean, it was a terrible bubble gum, but you loved it because it had the comics and it had the baseball players on it, and you had the cards. So it'd be cool if there was some sort of little collectible thing out there. And I know I've seen a few of them in stores, and I have a few of them. They have like the baseballs, and you can open them, and it's like a player. But I think it'd be cool if there was just a huge takeover of some sort of new collectible that you could, I don't know, scan in and keep track of them somehow, and I don't know, like play mini games with them or something. So like some sort of new collectible line, I think would be really cool. Or even um, if you go back to the gaming, there's so many of these new things in Fortnite and Minecraft that appeal to kids. They'll do these weekends where it's like the Post Malone weekend, and you can be Post Malone in the game, or Marvel weekend. It'd be cool if they had an MLB one, because they've never done MLB. They've done NBA and NFL players, so it'd be cool to kind of integrate MLB into some of those games as well.
And I'm sure, Zach, you could take that, make it part of the international game. Because I did love your point, too, about that. By the way, props to Ty for a Rugrats shout out. Hey Arnold shout out. That's pretty awesome. Good job. But Zach, you could integrate some of those things that Ty's talking about into the international game, which would really go over really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you can get some of that started over the next couple of years to be able to really hit the ground running in 2028 for the Olympics, just like I felt like so many people were talking about the Olympics when it was going on. And for baseball to miss out on that when it's going to be in America in 4 years, like just get the players. So the players, MLBPA, have the collective bargaining agreement over the next couple of years. There's going to be a lot of talks, and Olympics is going to be on the table. Do we shorten the season for this one season so we can do Olympics? Do we, bang the All-Star game and there's just no All-Stars for 2028 because you have 100+ players that are going to want to compete for their country in the Olympics? Like, how cool would that be?
It's a good idea. You guys are actually practical. All your ideas make sense to me. My ideas are a little off the wall. Are you ready for them?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. What was one of the highlights of us going to see the low A West Michigan Whitecaps? Today they're high A. But when I would take you guys to the games as kids, what made you most excited about that? I mean, other than the mascots, that's a whole different topic. Let me write that one down. Mascots.
I was about to say mascots.
Mascots. Okay, I'm going to brainstorm an idea with mascots. But other than the mascots, what did you love about going to the ballpark?
Heckling.
Getting baseballs thrown to me from a player.
Okay. All right.
And the mini games.
I remember it from a dad perspective. The price, it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Going to the ballpark at a major league ballpark, it's almost out of the price range for the average family. So I would love to see Major League Baseball put some investment into making it more affordable for families. So I say they all pick a day, every home game happening on April 15th or whatever day it is. It's Dime Dog Night.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Everyone
Dime Dog
coordinates
Night.
it. Dime Dog Night. Hot dogs are only 10 cents each. Limit of 10, by the way. But wouldn't that be crazy? Then you would have these like hot dog carts all over the stadium because the lines would be so long. Kids would have so much fun. They go up to buy their own hot dog for 10 cents or 20 cents. They got a quarter, keep the change, whatever it is, right? Dime
That
Dog Night at the major
that
league
would
level.
that would be awesome. I actually had a fourth idea just in case, and it was kind of along the similar lines. I was gonna say, do like a free day for kids like 8 and under or something, because like you said, like it's a whole paycheck to take your family to a ball game, a whole work week paycheck, and it's just that's a huge turnoff for, if your kid's not into baseball, like why would you want to take them to the game and spend a whole paycheck? So I was thinking kind of the same thing. Just do a free day for kids 8 and under or something. For me, I mean, you can't do it for like the big teams, but there's so many teams that have nobody in the stands. It's like, just make it free for the kids.
Right?
I think you're gonna see a movement going that way, not off the wall like Dime Dog Days, like you said, Dad. But there's definitely a movement to make food prices a lot more cost effective in stadiums around the country. People are going toward that, especially the new stadiums, like when they built Mercedes Benz in Atlanta, where the Atlanta Falcons football team plays and Atlanta FC soccer team plays. Like all of like you walk around their stadium, all their food prices are very cheap. Like hot dogs is like $2, a soda is like $3, bottle of water is like $2. Everything is like $5 cheaper than if you would go to a regular stadium, which is pretty cool. I think more stadiums could adopt that in the coming years for sure.
Well, I was reacting to the fact that like upcoming at the Whitecaps Thirsty Thursday, right? How much are you going to pay for a hot dog there on Thirsty Thursday? $3.
$3. Yeah.
$3. I mean, that's not cheap, for a hot dog.
Right.
I mean, like, come on, that's a buck. Okay, now that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But $3, that's not cheap.
Yeah.
Nothing against the Whitecaps. We love the Whitecaps, but all right, let me run by a couple other ideas before we run out of time here. All-star lineup. Fan votes the all-stars, right? And then we kind of, it gets filled in, right? I think take it next level. The fans predict where the players, other than catcher and pitcher, play on the field and their batting order. I don't remember if it was Ty, was your little league team, or Zach, your little league team, but I think it might have been Zach's team. I got really frustrated because everyone wanted to bat first, right? And you kind of as a coach going like, not everyone can bat first, second, or third, or be the cleanup hitter. Someone's got to bat 8th, 9th, and 10th, and 13th, right? So I had to put everyone's name in the hat, and we drew out names for the batting order, and that was the batting order.
I remember that.
So
I think that was Zach's team.
I think it was Zach's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got some inspiration from my high school summer team, where whoever was at the field first, there was like a sheet of paper on the dugout, and whoever got there first would write their name down. All right, you're leading off. The second guy to show up to the field, you're batting second. Third guy to get there, you're batting third. So like if you got there late, like you were batting at the bottom, and like that was the order because that's when you got there.
Well, I say for the All-Star game, let the fans also pick the positions of the players. Even though you voted them as the best shortstop, you want to see them in right field. You want
that
them
would
batting.
Never happen.
Aaron Judge playing second base. I mean, it could happen, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm going to tune in to watch that. I mean, they're miking up players now on the field. I mean, look, how crazy is that, right?
Why not?
All right, my last idea, and we got to wrap things up here, is this is an idea that I actually had back when I was starting our travel league baseball team. Oh, he's a ghost now. uh, this is an idea I had when I started the Grand Rapids Flames here in Grand Rapids back in 2001. And it's off the brain. The brain. The idea is the brainstorm I had was bringing back women playing professional baseball, right? Because there are leagues out there around the country where they're playing baseball at a high level, right? So I think Major League Baseball should invest with something, put a consortium together, and bring back like 8 teams in the Midwest and commit to like a 3 season, right, where they have tryouts, they document everything, and they have women from all over the country and all over the world coming. You identify the teams and the markets, and you have them playing on off days when their minor league teams are out of town, right? And you come up with professional. Maybe it's not 8 teams, maybe it's only 4 that you start with, but that you get young women, young girls to see. It's happening in the NBA, right? Well, the WNBA is like exploding right now. Well, why not for baseball? Let's get, and we all have. I have granddaughters. You guys all have daughters, so you know what I'm talking about. You want to get them as excited about baseball. It's not just a guy's game, and I love this movement throughout Major League Baseball, that women are just as involved at every level of the game. Ty, you and I went through the clubhouse tour at the West Michigan Whitecaps. They have their own locker room now, right?
Yep.
So I can see. Would love to see Major League Baseball putting some investment into how to grow the audience for women in baseball.
Yeah, I like that. That would be really cool.
A league of their own.
They definitely could do it. I mean, like you said, they've done it before.
Zach's like, no, not going to happen.
No, I think it'd be super cool. Yeah, I think not even MLB would have to get involved. Like somebody could just kind of put that together. That is an investor that is passionate about, that is from Racine or Rockford and can kind of like start it up that has some capital. And then if it does well after the first year, maybe they can get an agreement with the local minor league teams there and play at those kinds of stadiums. So. Yeah, that'd be super cool. Seeing that on TV, MLB Network going there and covering the game, that'd be cool.
I think it'd be great. So okay, maybe not so crazy. I still like dime dogs. I mean, dime dogs work for me. Well, guys, thanks a lot. It was a lot of fun today. Ty, you want to wrap up with anything before we leave?
No, everyone, thanks for listening to this episode. Let us know in the comments if you have any ideas of how youth could get involved in the MLB. And if you want to follow us on all our social platforms, we're on TikTok at Big League Dreaming. We're also on X, formerly known as Twitter, at BLD Pod. That's at BLD POD. And wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Big League Dreaming, the podcast, we come out with episodes every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Of course, here on YouTube, Big League Dreaming, the podcast. We will see you all next Saturday at 9 a.m. Peace and love, everyone.